Thank you so much for joining us for the SOAR series. Today we'll be looking at the policies and strategies for publicizing student group events here at Northwestern. Our objective in this presentation is to teach you how to develop strategic ways to publicize your events to the Northwestern community. We are going to walk through the beginning stages of planning, on and off-campus publicity tactics, publicity resources and policies, and some tips and tricks on how to get the most bang out of your publicity efforts. So you've realized that your group needs to do some publicity for an upcoming event. Well, the first thing you need to do is figure out who your target audience is. Depending on your event, you may have an internal or an external audience, or you may have both. Your current and potential members are often a part of your audience, so make sure the publicity reinforces why they are or should be members of your organization. Your external audience is most likely going to be the larger chunk of your audience. This can be students, faculty, staff, members of the Evanston community, or even complete strangers. When defining your audience, be specific as possible and figure out what they want. Your publicity should demonstrate how your event serves their needs, not the other way around. Once you have figured out your target and how you want to portray your organization, plan out your timeline. The amount of time between beginning your publicity and the event will help you determine the next step, which types of publicity you want to use. Each one takes a different amount of time, so matching the time you have with the time each type of publicity takes to plan and execute is key. We will review the types of publicity a little later on. Another factor to consider while planning out your publicity are your group's resources, mainly your budget and your manpower. Publicity can get very expensive and intensive very quickly, so knowing your resources up front will prevent you from exhausting them too quickly. And once you have your plan in place, make all the necessary reservations and get all the required approval. And then, just go for it. Regardless of the specific type of publicity you decide to go after, there is some basic information that you'll need to include in all types of publicity. Remember the 5 W's from grade school? Well, not much has changed. Make sure to include who is sponsoring the event, what the event entails, where the event will take place, when the event is taking place, and why. Answering the why is the perfect opportunity to tailor the publicity to your audience. Just tell them why they should come. Once you get past the basics of your message, it's time to explore the different ways you can get it out on campus. Flyers and posters, either on the ground or on bulletin boards, are always a popular choice. Table tents in dining halls or a la carte locations like Norris and Lisa's are a good idea since people are forced to look at them while they're eating. Banners by the arch are a bigger canvas for your message, and let's face it, thousands of students walk under the arch every day. Paid advertising is also a great option since you can control where your ad appears and know about how many people will see it. Ad space can be purchased in the Daily Northwestern and on the televisions throughout Norris. Ad space is also available for free in the form of banners and calendar listings on EnuLink. Other student groups may also be willing to advertise for you for free on their listservs, or you can purchase space on popular student group calendars for Dance Marathon and Mayfest. NU traditions like painting the rock and chalking the pathways are easy and great team bonding activities. You can also always plan publicity events on campus, such as a mini performance at the Rock, all the members of your group wearing the merchandise for your organization on a specific day, or even holding a fundraiser. Remember that many events can do double duty as a fundraiser and publicity event. The possibilities for on-campus publicity are almost endless if you're willing to get a little creative. Publicizing your event off campus is a little bit more difficult since you not only have NU but also Evanston publicity policies to contend with. There are many businesses in town that will allow you to hang a flyer or poster on the bulletin board or in their window. Just ask. You can also always place ads in local Evanston papers like the Evanston Roundtable. They can be expensive, but many Evanston residents do read these papers. And just like on campus, you can have publicity events off campus as well. Most of the time it's easier to join up with a community organization like the Evanston Arts Council to do something like this since they have a good working knowledge of the policies and they have more resources than you might have on your own. Check out the Evanston Township website for local organizations that might be able to help you out. Just like on campus publicity, make sure to get everything approved by your advisor first. If you need help in the actual process of creating your publicity, here are a few resources that can help. Kinko's on the ground floor of Norris is the easiest place to make copies, and you can bill it to your organization rather than paying cash up front. Artica in the Norris Underground has all the supplies necessary to make banners that you hang by the arch, and also has other supplies for artistic publicity for a nominal fee. Local copy shops like Quartet and Copycat are great for poster copying and often offer a discount to student groups in return for you including their logo on your poster. You can also always contact the marketing department in Norris and the Center for Student Involvement for tips and tricks of the publicity trade. As mentioned before, some types of publicity require reservations, and the sooner you make them, the better your chances of getting the time and the space that you really want. The events planning office on the 3rd floor of Norris handles most of these reservations, including banner space by the arch and table tents. Anything you want to post on NULink can be done through the current ASG PR director, and the Norris television advertising space can be reserved through the Norris marketing department. Ads for the Daily Northwestern can be placed through the Student Publishing Company office, which is also on the 3rd floor of Norris. If there is any other publicity initiative or event that you think you may need a reservation for, contact your advisor or the Center for Student Involvement. Aside from making reservations and getting approval, it's also very important to adhere to all Northwestern guidelines for student group publicity. Some of the most commonly violated policies are inappropriate flyer placement. Flyers and posters can only be posted on bulletin boards and kiosks and the ground, not on any other surface, so no trees or lampposts. If you are not a recognized student group, that means you're recognized by an office, a department, or ASG, you are not permitted to flyer or to hand out quarter sheets. Chalking and flyering are only allowed on sidewalks in designated publicity zones and are prohibited under overhangs. Nothing is allowed on Sheridan Road. Sheridan Road is governed by Evanston publicity laws, which don't allow for anything to be put on the ground, especially posters and chalking. If your event requires a contract, you cannot publicize for the event until the contract is submitted and approved by CSI. The entire publicity guidelines pamphlet and the outline of the flyering zones can be found in print in the CSI office in Norris or online on their website. Many student groups also choose to explore public relations in addition to their standard publicity plan. While publicity does have its benefits, you can control the message and the audience it reaches, but as mentioned before, publicity can get very expensive depending on which avenues you decide to pursue. On the flip side, public relations has its own set of challenges. It requires more effort, and you cannot always control the message or the audience that receives it. However, PR doesn't have any financial costs, just the cost of your time and effort. Here, it's a good way to try and get in the Daily, NBN, or on Northwestern News to cover your event, but it does require that you build a relationship with these people who you want to write about your event. If you have the ability to write a strong press release and the time to invest in contacting members of the press, PR can definitely be a great addition to your publicity plan. Where did it go? There it is. Publicity is an essential part of most student organizations' activities. Although publicity seems pretty simple, investing the time to become creative about your publicity efforts definitely pays off in the end. You don't have to rely on just the common and popular methods of publicity to get your message out there. So take what you've learned here and go show the community just what your student group has to offer. We hope you join us for another SOAR video podcast very soon.